Right, welcome ladies and gentlemen. Doctor Who ratings for episode 3 are officially in now. I know that sounds odd, we've just had episode 4, but this is the 7-day plus BBC iPlayer ratings that have come through for episode 3, and they're really bad because it sucks, obviously. But it's interesting to keep reporting on this because a lot of people have said BBC iPlayer will be the be-all and end-all. That will be the reason why these overnight views are so bad, okay? But actually what we're seeing is the views are leveling out quite nicely with quite a terrible rating, actually. They're pretty bad. We still also don't have the audience index either, the audience appreciation index, so that'll be really revealing when we get that. And even more so revealing when we get the Disney Plus viewership data as well. But as it stands, with BBC iPlayer, with BBC overnight views and then all of the 7 days total, they're terrible. They're really bad. And all the usual sorts are not able to justify this with any kind of argument. The counter argument is completely pathetic and easily debunked. So we'll take a look at this. Please do hit subscribe if you're new here, folks, and turn the bell notifications on. If you like what I do, support further via Patreon. It's linked down below in the description box. $2 a month, you can get some access to some, some special bits and pieces. But anyway, let's take a look, shall we? So, this is the Boom, or Boom. So, Boom bombed, which is very, very funny. And it had the lowest of all time overnight ratings. Literally the lowest of all time. And that does carry over to the BBC iPlayer ratings as well. They're terrible. They're awful. So we'll just scroll down here. So, quick guide to what this is. Overnight TV ratings only include those who watched it live and those who recorded and watched it later that night. +7 consolidated ratings include those who recorded it and watched it within a week. +4 screens since 2018. The final consolidated figure also takes into account viewers on tablets, PCs and smartphones, and also BBC iPlayer. So, we had episode 1, as you can see at the bottom, which had 2.6 million overnight, 3.7 for +7, and then +7 plus BBC iPlayer was 4.01 million. So it quite literally only had 300,000 people that chose to watch it on BBC iPlayer. 300,000 people watched it on BBC iPlayer. That's atrocious. But anyway, episode 4. 2.4 million. So episode 2 had... Did I say episode 4 or episode 2? Anyway, episode 2 had 2.4 million viewers. So they lost 200,000 viewers between episodes. Okay. It then carried over to 3.67 million for the 7 days. And then again, about 300,000 people tuned in on BBC iPlayer. 3.91 million. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. Then, ladies and gents, episode 3, Boom. Now, hilariously, we don't have +7 figures on here. Not quite sure why we've not got that yet. But one can sort of extrapolate what that's going to be based on this data. 2.04 million tuned in overnight. The lowest of all time. +7 we don't have. But +7 plus BBC iPlayer for all tablets, TVs, whatever. 3.58 million views. That's atrocious. So we can sort of... I mean, the downward trend is very real. So what can we learn from this? What can we sort of extrapolate here? Well, if you're only managing 3.58 million for +7 +4 screens, and the average seems to be about 300,000 people that tune in from the +7, I mean, you're looking at 3.3 million viewers for the +7, or thereabouts. It's real bad. Real bad. Now, again, just to say, yeah, episode 4 did have 2.62 million. I wonder what that's going to translate to. I don't think it's going to be higher than 3.58 million for the +7 plus BBC iPlayer, all that nonsense. I cannot see it. I cannot see it being more than that. So, a pretty epic fail. And this does make a lot of sense as to why we are getting a review block. And I've done this a few times. Every single video I do this, I think it's important. We are getting a review block on Rotten Tomatoes for Doctor Who. So, 31%. This has changed every now and then. It's gone to 32, 31. Now we click on it. 250 plus ratings. These have never changed. They're no more recent. May 14th is literally the last time they've allowed reviews to drop on. They've been blocking reviews every single time here, which is not good. That's not good at all. Which says, well, why are you blocking it? Well, we know why they're blocking it, obviously. And which makes it even more funnier when we have the likes of Radio, what is this, Digital Spy. Doctor Who 73 yards wins biggest of the season so far. Well, let's wait and see, shall we? Let's wait and see to whether that bombs moving forwards, because the Doctor Who boss is such a douche. Doctor Who boss on 73 yards mystery. I'm never going to tell you what she says. Are you under the same school as J.J. Abrams here? Damon Lindelof, just mystery boxes. What are you talking about? So the villain of 73 yards told people to stay away from Ruby, and now no one's going to know what she said. What's the point in that? You're literally never going to reveal it. So it's just mystery box. Great. This week's episode of Doctor Who 73 Yards left a number of fans scratching their heads at the end, with a number of the show's mysterious goings-on remaining unexplained. One of the biggest questions fans will have had throughout the episode is just what the woman stalking Ruby, who we later found out was an older version of Ruby herself, was saying to people to get them to run away from her. Well, it doesn't matter, you're never going to know. Not only did the stranger who approached the woman run away from Ruby in fear, often screaming and shouting as they did so, but even Kate Stewart and Ruby's own mother, Carla, turned their backs on her, a look of disgust and fury in their eyes. Ruby did manage to get Carla to speak to her briefly one last time, where she said, "I won't ask you again, Ruby. Please stop calling and go away." When Ruby said, "But I'm your daughter," Carla coldly replied, "Well, except you're not, are you? Even your real mother didn't want you." And Russell T Davies, RTD, retarded himself, decided to say this. "You will never know. I'm never going to tell you what she says. It's kind of up to you to sit there and think, well, what could someone say that would make a mother run away from her daughter forever?" Literally no idea. What are you talking about, dunce? You could look at yourself and think, what would make me do that? And once you start to do that, you enter the real horror story, the dreadful things that are being said. They're terrible things. What? Anyway, like I said, abysmal views, 3.58 million. Cannot wait for the Disney Plus figures. They're going to be shockingly bad. Leave your thoughts down below. Take care. Bye-bye now.